What's up, Shelf Addicts? Welcome back to the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Today on Book Chat, we are continuing our reread of the Mercy Thompson series. This episode, we are covering Book 11, Storm Cursed. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I am your host, Tamara, and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, we're going to feed your shelf addiction with fun book conversations, bookish topics, and more. It's like listening in on your favorite book club. Participate in this discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official or over on the Book Clubs app. I hope to hear your thoughts on today's show. You can also find me and Casey on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support the podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe before you leave. That will really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing it. The uncut video version of this podcast is available right now over on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including after shows and more. So if you're interested in that at all, you'll need to come over onto Patreon and sign up. As always with Book Chats, we talk spoilers here, so you've been warned. Without further ado, let's begin. Joining me is feature co-host Casey from Heartful of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! Because today we are doing another installment of our reread of the Mercy Thompson series. Although, by the way, so I'm going to give the stats momentarily, but this book came out in 2019. And when I looked on Goodreads, this is only my second time reading it.
I think so too. I think I've only read this once.
Yes, because it's so new. So we haven't had a chance to read it twice.
Reread. Yes.
Right. All right, so we'll do the stats, give the synopsis, and we'll jump right on in. So we are reading Storm Cursed by Patricia Briggs, 11th in series, published May 7th, 2019 by Ace and Penguin Audio. The paperback is 303 pages. The audiobook is 10 hours and 15 minutes, narrated by Lorelei King. All right, Casey, would you please share the synopsis?
Happily. In this powerful entry in the #1 New York Times best-selling series, Mercy Thompson must face a deadly enemy to defend all she loves. My name is Mercedes Athena Thompson Hompton, and I am a car mechanic and a coyote shapeshifter, and the mate of the Alpha Columbia Basin werewolf pack. Even so, none of that would have gotten me into trouble if, a few months ago, I hadn't stood upon a bridge and taken responsibility for the safety of the citizens who live in our territory. It seemed like the thing to do at the time. It should have only involved hunting down killer goblins, zombie goats, and an occasional troll. Instead, our home was viewed as neutral ground, a place where humans could feel safe to come and treat with the Fae. The reality is that nothing and no one is safe. As generals and politicians face off with the Grey Lords of the Fae, a storm is coming and her name is Death. But we are a pack, and we have given our word. We will die to keep it.
All right. So, dragons and witches.
Oh my. So in the live that we did on Tuesday, we said that there's literally everything in Patricia Briggs' world. And I did not say this out loud, but I thought, there's never been a dragon. And then I got to the end of the book, and I was like, oh, fuck, there is a dragon.
And I wonder if I said that subconsciously, thinking about, like, because I didn't remember there was a dragon. It must have just been in there somewhere.
Like, as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, man, this is why we had this conversation. Like, we've only read this book once. It's been a couple of years, but there was a dragon.
Yeah.
We should have remembered the dragon, but we had this conversation on the live.
I know, especially since the dragon is like the reason that, Coyote got involved. He...
Is it, though?
Well...
Because he looked at Adam in that moment and went, and like gave him a very special stare and said...
It's all about what he doesn't say, right? He said that, but he didn't say some other things.
There's a lot he didn't say. And I do think he wanted to save the dragon. Like, I think that is a truth. I don't think it was the whole truth. I think it was just the tip of the iceberg for him.
I think he sometimes uses like that Fae mentality when it comes to the truth.
Absolutely, yes.
Which is, I mean, a very interesting skill. I don't think I have that skill. It's basically, to me, lies of omission, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna tell the truth, but maybe not what you should be telling the truth about. Even Mercy is using that. Like, they keep talking about her be hanging around politicians for too long and stuff. Like, when she
Mm-hmm.
talks to, Sherwood, she's like, well, I can't lie, so I'm gonna tell the truth, but I'm just gonna word this very carefully. There's a lot of that going on, like
Mm-hmm.
half truths, I guess.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, that's how Patricia Briggs writes all of her books. She tells you exactly what you need or think you want to know, but then, gives a giant plot twist at the end and something else happens.
Yeah, so she does that by design, but it's
Mm-hmm.
so smooth, you don't feel like the characters are lying to you.
Not at all.
Like, I literally, you guys know, if you follow the podcast, we just finished a book with the buddy read where I literally felt like the main character lied to me. And I'm like, you lied. Like, you tried to, it was an obvious misdirection, but it was just because
Mhm.
the main character straight up lied to our faces. And I don't like that feeling, but Briggs does not do that. Like, she does tell you, but she
Mhm.
doesn't tell you.
But she doesn't tell you.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you don't feel like you've been betrayed. So, yeah, that's a good thing.
Very good thing.
Yeah, because that's not a good feeling. Like, you lied to me. But, because Mercy is very reliable. She's a reliable
Mhm.
character, and I like that. We know we can trust her.
Except when Coyote gives her a dream that lasts like 3 weeks and then takes her memory away so she doesn't actually remember it. And we're like, Mercy, this is the thing.
But that's him playing games with her. I mean, well, that's him not necessarily playing games, but he's trying to use her like a pawn. So he's going to plant the information and then take it away so she can't quite reach it until she really needs to. And
Needs
he's
it. Yes.
like someone who like does hypnosis on someone. They tell them all these things and then they take it away and then they give a little snap or a little code word and then suddenly it's back. And in this case, his way of doing that was Gary calling her.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I remember everything now. Oh, God. Like, no, damn it. And Gary's like, what did he do? Is it bad?
It's our dad. It's always bad.
Oh, my God. But that's Coyote, though. He's like always doing the worst. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. But he's not bad. He's not good. He's just chaos and crazy. And all things considered, he barely did anything in this book.
He just moves people. He moves like people like they're on a chessboard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
He's
a game.
Like, oh, look, here is a very bad coven of witches. We need to get Mercy in here to take care of it. So let me set this up like a chessboard and boom, boom, bam.
He just did that in Silence Fall in book 10. Like, well, while you're here, let me just get you to do a couple things because, your brother couldn't take care of it. So I'm going to send you. So it's like, he's always working behind the scenes, doing some mess. And like in this book, I feel like it was extreme because while she was only asleep for an hour of this dream,
she was in that cat's head for 3 weeks.
Yeah. In the dream, it felt like weeks.
Which is insane.
Like, why would you torture your own child like that?
Because he wants her to learn all of the witches' stuff. He wants her to figure out what they're doing, what they're capable of.
But Coyote, you could have just had me invisible standing in a corner watching and listening. I didn't have to be in the damn cat, did I?
Well, she saved the cat.
She did. Which he also patted himself on the back. Oh, I guess I saved the cat. Yay. Like 2 for 1. Like, what? Okay. Which is kind of wonky when you think about it. So is it the chicken or the egg? Did you save the cat and then she was in there? Or did the cat was saved because she was in there, but it was already saved? It's weird. I don't quite
Time travel, man.
Yeah.
Time's not linear. Time's all loop-de-loop-de-loop-de. So something that happens in the past hasn't happened in the future, but the future happens in the past, and time travel.
As it always comes down to with Coyote, things are always a little bit wonky. It's never easily explainable. It's always something.
Always something.
Yeah.
It's always 3 steps to the left, 1 step to the right. Now an anvil's falling on your head. Oops.
But we got this accomplished. So yay!
Yay, the witches are dead.
Oh my God. I would hate to be one. I would think I would feel like Gary. Like, I effing hate you.
Yes. I think we would all be Gary. Mercy's well on her way. She's only had dad, quote unquote, for like a year, a little less than a year.
Yeah.
A little more than a year. I don't know. Timeline.
Well, he's already used her 3 times.
So many times.
At least 3. At least.
River March.
Yep.
Night. Was he involved? Well, he was involved with the whole walking stick thing. That whole fiasco. So that's 4 times.
4 times. Okay. In a year. You keep showing your butt up and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I need a spell to keep you out of my head. Can I get a spell for that?
I don't think that's possible, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh.
Or if it was, they just killed all the witches who could have done that.
Because there aren't any left. Which, by the way, can I just skip to the end for a second?
Yes, we've already skipped to the end.
Yeah. So that scene, I forgot that Adam had kissed Elizaveta before he murders her. But I'm like, what was that shit about? Like, I couldn't quite understand why. I feel like, of course, it was a deceptive thing to unarm her, but I feel like there was a little more there because, Briggs had written he was waiting for her. He was waiting for Mercy to, like, basically say something to him, and she didn't say it.
Yes. I think he genuinely cared about her. Not in like a romantic, loving way, because she looked like she could be his grandmother because she was 70, Adam's old, but like, it was that like familial grandmotherly love because she just helped back in Silence Fallen get Mercy, Yeah. And we saw from his point of view that he did care deeply about her. And so now that she's young and hot because she just got the death spell and her body like rejuvenated itself, and she's like, I've wanted to kiss you for so long, and he's like, I can't let you live, so I'm going to give you this moment of happiness and then break your neck. So I think it was like a farewell, I love
Goodbye
you,
kiss.
Goodbye, I'm going to distract you so you don't see me coming and then, snap your neck.
So don't forget, though, I don't think Elizaveta is really that much older than him. How old is Adam really?
I think he's probably about 60 or 70.
Yeah. So while he didn't age like she did, brain-wise, in the brain space, they're about the same age.
Yeah, and so there's that bond of like, we've lived all this time together. We've known each other for so long. He kept talking about how she was his friend and he always called on her. And he was so devastated when he found out that she had turned to black magic. And right from that moment, he knew he had to kill her. Yes. He kept putting it off, but he knew he had to do it.
Yes, he did. And he did. I'm like, damn, Adam, you're not playing around. But, Mercy said it for him. She's like, we don't allow black magic in our territory.
Period. You had to kill her. And Mercy understands that it wasn't a romantic, I love you, let me stick my tongue down your throat kiss. Right. It was a goodbye person that I care about who needs to die.
I don't know.
Which really sucks.
Yeah. But he still was like, he always, I think, expects the worst from
because of
her.
Christy.
Yeah.
I think if he ever... And again, like, both of them were naked. They were naked and pressed against each other when they were kissing. And so, like, that's a very intimate kiss, even if they're not, doing
I
anything
know,
else.
because they were naked. I'm like, ew.
They were naked and pressed against each other. And yeah, no, if Christy ever saw Adam naked near or against another woman, I think she would have lost her shit. And Adam still kind of expects Mercy to react like Christy. And Mercy's like, no, I understand exactly why you did that. If Mercy had to kill Stefan, she would probably kiss him and then break his neck or stab him. Like,
love you, friend. Bye.
yeah, no, like that's exactly what Mercy would do.
Yeah.
She'd be like, love you, but let me shove this stake in your heart. Thankfully, we love Stefan. He's not evil. That's not going to happen. But I think it's very similar, and Mercy understands that, and that's why she's not berating Adam, even though he's berating himself.
Well, also, even if she does feel some kind of way, which she did, she was wiping his mouth off and saying, hey.
I think she did that more for him than for herself. But yeah, like, I'd be like, go brush your teeth before you kiss
I'm
me.
not going to kiss you right now because that's kind of gross. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I know where your mouth has been. But,
there's some black magic. Just get rid of it.
I still think, she's human. You've got to feel a little bit of a way, even if logically you understand the logic of it. But, she's dead. Elizabeth is dead.
Yeah.
So there's no why, there's no reason for it because it's not like she's alive to even, so she lets it go essentially. But I can't imagine any woman not feeling some kind of twinge or something, even though you logically understand like what's happening.
Yeah. And then I think Mercy did feel a little bit of that twinge, but she gets the nudge. So
she gets the nudge.
So she wins.
She's like, later. He's like, promise? She's like, I'm like, oh my God, they nudging a lot all the time. Like, y'all.
All the time. They're nudging all over the place.
All the time, everywhere. Y'all just go get a room somewhere.
People are like, quick, where's that essential oil? We need to douse it on Adam. He's too much for her poor body.
They're like two horny teenagers. It's outrageous. I mean, I totally love it for them. But if I were the friend, or the family, I'm like, y'all, come on now. Give me a break. Give me a break. Don't do it in my line of sight.
Right?
But good for them, though, right? Good for them. All right. What else should we? Oh, it's time for a commercial real quick. Let's take a quick commercial break and we'll come back. We'll finish talking about Storm Cursed. In the meantime, check out these commercials by listening to those. You are supporting the podcast. And don't forget to hop on over to Amazon and check out the book review journal if you haven't already, because it's available right now. And I think you can still get it before Christmas if you order now. It's a great Christmas present for book nerds that you know.
It's so great. It's a perfect present for book nerds.
Yeah, it's in my 2023 planner/journal lineup.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know, I'm back on it. Well, I have to do a short or something about all my journals for next year.
Yes.
All right, you guys, stay with us. We'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, welcome back. We are back at it. Reading our favorite series in the world.
Yes. Should we talk about Paul for a moment?
Sure.
Paul was an asshole. Paul was a giant dick.
Yes.
Paul hated Mercy. He wanted her dead. Well, maybe not dead, but like definitely out of the pack. He was part of the whole movement against her with Mary Jo and the other guy whose name I've just completely forgotten. The one who had to leave and go live with Bran.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name. That was like, what, 3 books ago when they got in that fight? Was it 3
More,
books?
or that might have been like Bone Crossed.
Okay.
Or Silverborn. Like, that was...
They were trying to oust Adam when he was injured, and they had this
Mhm.
little plan, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Mercy shot him in the head with the lead bullet.
Mhm.
And then he got kicked out of the pack. But, like, that wasn't Paul. That was just... Paul was part of that group.
Mhm.
Well, in the midst of all the paranormal shit that's going down, there is some human shit going down, and a human bomber tries to kill a bunch of werewolves, and Paul saves Mercy's life.
He does. Oh,
I almost cried
really?
when he sat there and touched her cheek and was like, just tell them, you know, I was a hero. I was like,
Oh.
that's really sad. But then I didn't cry because he was an asshole. And
No,
Mercy
he was,
told everybody repeatedly, Paul saved me. Paul saved me.
she was a little delusional as well from the pain meds, but you know, she wanted to make sure that people knew that he did that. And it doesn't negate what he did before, but he did this now.
Yes.
And apparently, and I remember he did like kind of express some feelings about Mary Jo in that other book, but it came up again. He's like, tell her I love her. No, don't tell her that. No, he takes it back. Don't do that. But, you know, yeah, Mary Jo has good things to say about Paul. You know, she's like, he's a good person. So,
because she was part of that whole group who hates Mercy, and she
Right.
still kind of hates Mercy.
yeah.
She's slowly coming around, but not enough. And it's, you know.
Yeah. But she did tell everyone what he did, and everyone appreciate. Obviously, no one her friends don't want her dead, so they are grateful for him for doing that, right? But
yeah, but still, Paul is dead.
It's kind of a little bit of karma.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But like, this is the first wolf we've lost in a while, right? Because Honey's husband died a few books ago.
Yeah.
And then nobody else has really died since.
No,
Mercy has almost died so many times that she just kind of eclipses everybody else.
But no other wolves. Were any wolves killed in that kidnapping? That was Peter. Peter's death was in the kid. Okay, Peter was the kidnapping. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think anyone else. So Peter and then now Paul.
And is it weird that it's always connected to Frost? Is that a pattern we are seeing from Patricia Briggs?
It is a pattern. I mean, yeah, even though strange.
I mean, it was the humans and the government, but also Frost was involved. So
interesting.
Anyway, I just wanted to talk about Paul because
Paul deserves 30 seconds.
Yeah. Now we can move on and remember that he was an asshole in life, but did something good.
Yeah.
With his death.
So, the witches. This was one elaborate, complicated, like plan. So, I might let you take the lead on that one because I know I was speeding through this book and it got really murky at the end of what caused what.
So, there is a coven of witches from Tennessee, which is terrifying, but they're southern witches. They are kind of powerful. They want to call themselves a real coven, but they only have 10 families, and Elizaveta looked down on them. They're like, you don't even have real lineage. You're a ragtag band of misfits. I'm a true witch. But these ladies have some power.
Yeah.
There was one witch many, many years ago who's now dead who was able to create zombies out of anything. Like ogres, dragons, people,
werewolves,
and they did not rot. They looked human and totally fine 2 centuries later, which is terrifying. But she's dead, so there's a new witch who's much younger who sort of has that same power. She's not quite as powerful. She can make a lot of zombies, but they start rotting instantly and look like
awful
dead zombies.
Like how zombies should look.
Yes, like how zombies should look. So she's here. There's the witch called Death. who is super powerful, wants to take over the world, basically. They had a trader in Brand's pack in Montana. That was mentioned in one brief sentence here from Mercy's point of view. That was taken care of the previous month in the previous Alpha and Omega book. I won't say anything else, but these witches have long tentacles. They controlled or worked with Frost. So way back in Frostburned, we discovered that he was not turned by Jacob, the evil vampire from Milan, who we all thought he was turned by and sent to spy on Marsilia and Stefan. Like, it gets complicated.
Yes, it is complicated.
Frost was either turned by or was a vampire, but also witchborn. He and the witches planned to out all of the vampires and also help eliminate the werewolves.
Yes.
Because that's why they had the plot with the humans to kidnap Adam and have Adam assassinate the senator, so then the werewolves would look really bad and everybody would want to kill the werewolves, and then you'd also want to kill the vampires, and then the witches could take over.
Yes.
The vampire witches would also take over.
Oh, God. And because there's that vampire witch, there's werewolf witches, vampire witches, you know, witch lineage all over the place. And yeah, they still never figured out who created Frost, but Marsilia did kind of step up, and she was able to like eliminate some other people that had the same lineage. Yeah, from by scent.
Either by Frost or with Frost.
Right.
Because he was about the same age. He was only about 70 years old as well. Which is very, very young. Like, they had to take care of his body because his body didn't decompose.
Yeah. And so the word is now out, you know, to kind of look for anybody that has this signature kind of on them.
Because she traveled to several seaths and found a few plants. And they got eliminated instantly.
Yeah, not all of them belong to Frost, but they could have been made by the same person who made Frost. And we still don't know who that is.
Yeah, no, that's going to come up later in a different book, but mum's the word.
Yeah, exactly. So we had that, and it's like, so that complicated plot.
So these witches,
almost overly complicated, I feel like, but okay.
Definitely. But like, this is where Patricia Briggs really expands the world, and you kind of need to know what's going on in the Alpha and Omega world because you hear other stories, because there are several werewolves, including Sherwood, who had been taken captive and used as parts of spells and pain and, you know, just captive werewolves. Why not?
Which, again, when we reread this stuff about Sherwood, it reinforces how old he is.
He's very old.
You know, because the original witch was the one that held him captive. So, and he knows all this stuff about magic. Like, for example, like in this book, you know, the senator's assistant or whatever, she was pretty much taken over to give Mercy this message, and she was fighting it because she too had some type of blood in her lineage that kept her from like totally succumbing. She goes to Uncle Mike's, you know, place, and she's spewing all this stuff and trying to keep her. So she's trying to like fight it and not. It's like a mess. And so Sherwood is told by Mercy, like, she's talking to his wolf. Fix her. Okay? And then we'll go hunt some witches. And he's like, Done. Let's do it.
Deal. Let's do it.
Yeah. And his like eyes are yellow and he's working and he knows exactly what to do. And it's like, wow, okay. He's breaking spells, and he even murmurs like, oh, if I were in my own space with my own stuff, and he kind of just stops, you know. I'm like,
there's a lot about Sherwood we don't know yet, but that's going to come out in a future book. So
yeah, I know. But it's like, wow, like all these people have access to magic. So it's never just a werewolf. just a vampire. Just
That would make things
anything.
way too easy.
Yeah.
That would make
Everyone.
everything too easy. Yeah.
Yes, like everything is magic touched in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it really difficult to fight things.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, Mercy can, feel magic, and usually magic kind of bounces off of her. Not always, but sometimes. And she's here to save the day.
She is. And she does again.
Again and again and again.
And again and again. Like, it's her thing. And she even says in this book, like, I think she said something about not being too clever, but she is like crazy lucky.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it is.
Because Coyote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's just headstrong and a little stupid and a little clever and willing to go fight for anybody, and then just gets really, really lucky.
Yes. She survives out of pure luck and
almost
a little bit of
time.
magic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because even in this book, she does, we talk about her saving the day. Of course, she does do things that are not that smart. Like when she goes, like she gets rid of Sherwood. And then she goes after Adam because he leaves a voicemail. Hey, I went to Elizabeth's. I'm going to help her. Bye. So she takes off there and she's slinking around in her coyote form. And she sees Adam as the wolf on patrol. I'm like, girl. So Adam he's fighting this somehow. And he tells her to like leave.
Yeah, because he's like, just go.
Right.
Stop being an idiot and go.
Yeah, he tells her to leave. And of course, she comes back. She goes, she gathers the crew, she gets her entourage and comes back. And her ability, I just want to skip to her ability. We can talk about all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But she's able to like free him through their pack bonds, like completely free him of the hold that was on him.
Also, a little bit of blood magic. So he bit down on her neck.
He did.
And got some of her blood in his mouth. And thankfully didn't, bite all the way down and break her neck.
I mean, and of course, Wolf has to point that out. He's like, look, I wanted you to touch him. I didn't say you should like have your neck in his mouth or anything. But that's what worked. And he's like, damn it, I told you to leave. What are you doing back here?
But she has to save Adam.
Yeah.
So something I noticed, this is just a total one-off thought, was that in every single book, Mercy has always saved Adam, right? Like she's always saved him out of the cages. Last book, she saved herself, but then he had to come pull her out of the cage, but like all the bad guys were dead.
Yeah.
And I just completely forgot what my thought was.
Oh no.
My brain just turned off. Like I don't know. Never mind.
It'll come back.
No, like my brain just went black and I was like, oh shit. I had a thought. I was saying it. I don't know what.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Never mind.
Okay, what should we talk about the crew she gathered?
It was a fun crew. It was Z and Tad, which are good guys. And then it was Wolf, who was fucking terrifying.
Yes. She calls Marcelia. She's like, hey, do I owe you a favor? You owe me one. I lose track. I'm like, oh, okay. Here we go. And this time he's, presenting in a different way. He's really sneaky.
He's very sneaky.
Yeah.
He has wizard magic. He has witch magic. He has vampire magic. I feel like he has some other magic in there. He's super fast, faster than werewolves.
Yes. And let's just say white magic.
It was pure white magic.
Yeah. So he's an unknown. Like he's always a variable you don't really know. Because like today, like in this instance, she was, Mercy was telling Adam, he's on our side for this, I think. Because he is a wild card. You never know. He's very dangerous.
He is. He's incredibly dangerous. And I want to point out the fact that he put his hand on Mercy's arm when she released all of the zombies, and then he fell to the ground. And we don't know what really happened to him, but that's going to be very important in 2 books.
It will, because he clearly, he's like, I'm free or something. I'm relaxed or something. I'm at peace. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, you done did
That's
something.
Not good.
He's all laying on the ground like, la la la. Great.
Making snow angels, even though there's no snow, just like, waving his arms around like a fucking crazy person.
It's like he's high or something, like high on freedom or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've released something, girl.
And that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. He's one to watch.
Yes.
So they all got together and came, and actually Z, he is going to help Mercy no matter what. No matter what. He is not supposed. Part of the deal was the Fae. They were trying to make a deal and come to like some kind of agreement with the humans, and they were not supposed to intervene at all with these witches.
He is a rogue. He is a cast out.
Yes.
Not part of the Grey Lord's underlings. And they are still finding pieces of the last ones who hurt him. So I don't think anybody is going to lift a finger against him anytime soon.
No, I think, Mercy kind of says he's probably too powerful and they want him still. So he probably has kind of even though the Fae, they say stuff, but they kind of side skirt it, because he knows full well they met him too.
Yes.
They met him too.
Yes.
But he interpreted that the way he wanted to and did what he wanted to do.
Yes.
Same with Tad. Tad's like, look, they're going to blame me anyway, so I might as well contribute. I might as well get in the mix because they're going to blame me.
Mm-hmm. And my father's son. They're going to blame me no matter what.
Yeah.
Mercy had that weird moment where she's like, I always think about him when he's he's a 10-year-old running the shop, but now he's a grown adult who's slaying ogres and zombies, and oh no, he's not really a little kid anymore.
Although you have like these little glimpses of him showing his youth. Like when they get in the car and he has that cloak on that's like glowing and he's like complaining about it. Or he
is only like 20, 21. Like he's young.
Or in the shop when they're messing with the orange filters.
Oh God!
And after he burns his hands and his father fixes it, he's like, after my daddy fixes it, blah, blah, blah. He's whining. I'm like, there are glimpses of his youth showing, but he is like an adult. It's kind of funny.
No, it's funny. He's comedy gold. We love Tad.
Yeah, he's great. He'll be around this crew for a long time.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And of course, who else helped in the whole scheme of things? Oh, the Goblin King.
Larry, the Goblin King.
Yeah.
I'm really sad his daughter died.
I know, that sucks. He's mad about it. He's like,
his
mad. Favorite kid died.
He's not over that, and I think he's still gonna do a few things to like feel retribution or get retribution. Because she was there watching the witches and making her own choices, and he was like, I was proud of her for making her own choices, but now she's dead because she made her own choices. And
because Larry, technically goblins are fae, so he was also kind of under that restraint of not being able to like legitimately go kill the witches. He couldn't act in that way, but he acted by giving information and giving warnings.
Exactly. Yes,
he was able to get his revenge on the witches anyway without physically doing it. But
I feel like, no, there's still some witches around because they only came in 2s. And there's at least 8 others. So this is not the last we've seen of the witches, is my prediction. And I feel like Larry's going to get himself involved at one point or another.
I feel like, though, they're probably, and I'm kind of guessing, they've got to like amass power again, right? Because like the most powerful ones were taken out. They're dead.
Instantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they still have some power. They have been gathering power for the last few decades. I don't know. I don't think they're gone. I don't think this is the last we've seen of the witches. I don't think the Hardesty witches are just going to go quietly into the darkness.
They're not. I mean, just think about how Briggs has dragged Frost along on this ride.
Right? We thought he was one and done, but now it's 4 books later.
And he's up here again. He comes, the influence he's had doing things is resurfaced. So she's not done with those witches. We're not done with them. We're not done with other things, but I won't say. Oh my God. I thought it was going to be this book, but it wasn't. I'm like, oh shit. It's the next one. But you know, I'm telling you, Briggs has like the long game with her plotting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, we mentioned in the live that one of the witches who was murdered was Robert, who was one of the people who worked with Gary back in Moon Called. And issues from that are still popping up. And that was the very first book.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show how big this world is and nothing is ever truly resolved.
I know. Because of all of this, like, I know we hadn't officially said anything, but next year I'm reading those Alpha and Omega books.
Yes!
We're going to do it because I feel like now I need those other pieces.
Yes. No, I had just finished reading Burn Bright and I was like, I am really glad I know this backstory going into Storm Cursed because they talk about the Harvesty witches.
Yes. And I was kind of like, I don't know. But after someone left a comment asking us to do it, I kind of felt like, okay, now this was the extra little push I needed to do it. Because I think, you know, once you read something, you'll be like, because this is so fresh for us, those connections will still be there. We'll
absolutely.
know where they fit. So if you're listening along and rereading along with us, you'll want to stay tuned for that because you'll want that. I think you'll want it.
I think so. I think everybody should want to read them. They're good books.
They are good books. And you get to see like the back of the coin, so to speak, you know, so you know how like things come together like that, you know. And
you get to see how much bigger the world is.
Yeah. Because it's not just the Tri-Cities area.
Mercy only sees a very small iota of what's happening.
But for her, it's a huge impact.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, like it's crazy and wild, but also like there's just so much everywhere that's happening.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. We're going to do that. I don't know when next year. I don't want to like say for sure when we're going to do it, but I will figure it out.
We'll figure it out. It'll come.
Yeah. So we were talking before we hit record about Adam. Should we talk about Adam's like the worst thing about Adam?
We love Adam. We stan a king, but he is not perfect. And he has gone down in the rankings a bit.
He has.
Adam's a Republican.
Oh my God, don't say it. No. Oh my God.
No.
It's like, how dare you tarnish this man by making him...
You have ruined him for me.
Oh,
he was perfect. For 10 whole books, he was perfect. And now, no. I can't. I cannot.
Nope. He was hanging out with POTUS, and that's when it kind of came up that Mercy says, you know, we vote differently, and our votes cancel each other. And I'm like, damn.
God damn. Adam loses all of the brownie points. Charles is now number 1. Charles would never. Charles would fucking never.
No.
Charles is perfect. We love Charles.
I cannot understand like how Mercy, like I know that being with someone who believes polar opposite of you in a lot of important areas. I don't know how you could be with somebody like that. You can't like full on ignore.
It's not
those
just like,
things.
oh, it's just political. Political is not just the superficial thing. It is the very essence of who you are, like what your moral code is. Because there are some people who are out to destroy other people, and they call themselves the Republicans, right?
Yeah.
Like the Republicans would hate both of us. The Republicans would happily see both of us dead. And like they can go, no, if Adam is voting for Republicans.
I know. It's wild. It's wild because I just, not to get all like that, but I just can't understand why she would ruin this character in this way. Like, don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Maybe she was, and I thought maybe she was throwing a bone out there saying, oh, some of them are just like us. Normal.
Well, okay, so the senator was a Republican, and he was trying to talk about how each side has some good and some bad, and yes, that is true. And I will never trust any politician except for Leslie Knope, but she's a fictional character, so, like, that tells you everything you need to know. But, like, even he wants to get rid of all of the Fae and the werewolves, and no, he wouldn't bomb them like he said, but he doesn't like them. He doesn't trust them. He's begrudgingly working with them.
Yes. And I mean, even his assistant, she does not like them either. And even Mercy says, hey, keep hanging out with us and keep hanging out with me and you'll think we're the good guys. I feel badly that Briggs did that to this character. I feel very conflicted about Adam now. And I don't even know if it comes up again or if it was like maybe she was feeling in her feelings about something political when she wrote this book.
Okay, so this book came out in 2019, but it was written earlier. I remember there was some kind of delay with this book.
There was, because there were 2 years between the publication date of Silence Fallen and this one.
So even if she wrote this in like 2016 or 2017, that was a very political time. There was a lot of unrest.
Shit. I mean, did it ever stop?
No, but it's gotten worse. But like we thought it was really bad. We thought it was the end of the world, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know.
I don't know. Like I feel like sometimes authors try to say things in a low key way, and I'm like, I don't want to read into it too much because I might get mad. I don't know.
That's kind of where I'm at. Is like I'm going to pretend either that this world is not as bad as reality, or, I mean, which it is because they're obviously very bigoted, awful politicians who want to destroy entire communities. They want genocide. So reality, I don't know. I lost so much respect for Adam.
I know. So, and I really don't remember if his politics come up again or not.
I don't think they do. And I'm really glad, but also just like, Jesus Christ, why did you have to add this in? Why didn't your editor be like, there's too much political stuff?
Because, I mean, all the other politics could have stayed. We did not have to know his affiliation. It could have been a gray spot that we would have never filled, and it would have been just fine. I don't know. Why say it?
Why say it?
Anyway.
Okay, we need to talk about something happy to end this session with.
Let's see. Happy. What happened at the end of the book that was happy? Nothing. The last scene was of Coyote.
Yeah. No, it was... Damn. Did anything good happen in this book?
No. It was Wolf's scene.
Well, okay, no, there were miniature goat zombies, and they were cute. It was terrifying, but they were cute.
Oh, cute goats. Kill them all. Burn them all.
Mary Jo is kind of friendly with Mercy. Adam won't let Mercy go grocery shopping for eggs, probably ever again.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
I mean, heck, even Tad won't even like leave her in the shop to close. He's like, I feel guilty that I wasn't here.
Which is Mercy has had a lot of shit thrown at her for the last 11 books.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing that people are like, no, we're going to take care of you. We're going to watch you.
You need armed guards at all times. I mean, all this stuff, and then you go and get kidnapped. Oh my God. Like, no, you'll never be completely left alone again.
Never again.
Yeah. She might as well kiss that goodbye. And I think she kind of appreciates that.
I think she does.
Yeah.
Because
she doesn't need it, but she appreciates it.
Yeah. She doesn't want to get kidnapped. She doesn't want to get hurt. She needs her people around her.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I would too if I were her. Especially you have a lot of powerful friends.
Yes.
Keep them close.
Yes, keep them very, very close.
Yep. Okay, so what's next?
Storm?
Smoke Bitten?
Smoke
is
Bitten.
Next, I think.
Yes, Smoke Bitten.
Book 12, Smoke Bitten.
Ooh.
Beautiful cover art, as always. You can see this if you're on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
So this is next week, right?
Yep.
Moving on. Moving forward. Don't forget, if you follow on YouTube, you can catch the live reading sprints on Tuesday. And then we'll be here on the podcast on Friday with this book. So, yay!
So fun.
Yes, and if you haven't already caught this week's episode, we've already posted our kickoff to our year-end kind of series. So Casey and I are talking about the reads that we did.
Ranking them.
We're ranking the ones that we did that were like book to movie adaptations or, book talk.
Book talk made us do it.
Yeah, so that's available right now in the podcast feed. You don't want to miss it. Coming up, we'll be talking about our fantasy series, the ones we read this year and ranking those. And of course, you'll catch Classy and I talking about our buddy read mystery and thriller titles. So we got good stuff coming this month. Yes. So get excited. Stay subscribed. Get subscribed. You don't want to miss all the good stuff. All right. I think that's it. What do you think, Casey?
I think that's it. I think we're good.
All right. So it's been a fun conversation. Even though we went on a mini rant, it's all good.
That's okay.
See you next time. In the meantime, join us on Shelf Addiction Official or over on the Book Club's app because we want to talk with you. Mm-hmm. And we'll catch you in the next episode. Till next time, take care of yourselves.
Bye everybody.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction Podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.